What's going on, my Latin ones? This is your boy Mashi MT, and we back again. Yes, I know I've been away for a while. Did you miss me? I know you did, but guess what? I'm currently in the middle of dealing with a heat wave. I have my fan on full blast. I have my AC on full blast. I have my ice cold water next to me. The best way to beat the heat is to avoid the heat. So that's why I'm in here in my nice dark room recording, talking about the Mad Scientist group. And the Mad Scientist group, as we know, consists of Queen, Judge, and Dr. Vega Punk, and maybe a couple others. But let's talk about the significance of each of those three characters. First, Queen. Queen now has a connection to Kaido, as well as Queen also has a cyborg body, as well as he's like a biochemist, creating viruses that can actually kill people. All right. Now let's talk about Dr. Vegapunk. Dr. Vegapunk, as we know, works with the government, has developed artificial devil fruits and the pacifistas. So that adds the cybernetic background to him as well as him knowing about devil fruits. Now let's look at Judge. Judge missed the devil fruit. He missed the devil fruit. He missed the cyborg part, but he took the lineage factor and was able to develop clone soldiers. So now, what do all these three people have in common? Yes, they're all mad scientists. I'm saying MADS is mad scientists, but when you put all those three things together, you have cybernetics, devil fruits, viruses, clones, right? And then you think about, okay, what is the SSG? The SSG is supposed to be replacing the warlords. The warlords were at one point all part of the government, right? So would it be far-fetched to say that maybe these SSG are clones, possibly of the warlords, right? Who have buff genetics because of the ice only, like the ice only virus is able to give you a buff and power in exchange for your life force. But maybe they have a buff version of a clone of the warlords that possibly have devil fruits with them, or multiple devil fruits, because the pacifistas are being able to hold Kizaru's light beam. Maybe Dr. Vegapunk advanced that and is actually able to create some more. Actually, be able to create a vassal that can hold more devil fruits. So when you think about the SSG actually replacing the warlords, I can't tell if they're replacing just the singular warlord or all the power they have. So like how Boa has her and all of the Kuja pirates or Kuja warriors. Doflamingo has him and his whole family. You know what I'm saying? Miyok is by himself, obviously. Weasel's by himself. Buggy has him and his crew. You know? So I don't know how it's going to play out and how the SSG is actually going to replace them. But if the SSG is a singular person, I can see it being a clone of the warlords, or just a clone, or like a cyborg, perfected cyborg who hosts multiple devil fruits, who possibly has the buff of having like viruses and stuff like that. So like just like the ice only virus is a buff in that same realm. But when you think about how each of these three characters has a connection to one of the Yonko. Queen is now with Kaido. Judge was working with Big Mom. Dr. Vegapunk has helped the Straw Hats. And I also think Dr. Vegapunk has helped Blackbeard. The reason I say that is because two people in the story have confirmed use or have read the Delphi Encyclopedia, and that has been Sanji. Sanji's connected to Judge. Then also Blackbeard. Blackbeard, as we know it so far, has no connection to Queen. Unless Queen is actually working with Blackbeard behind the scenes, but who knows? But he possibly had a connection to Dr. Vegapunk. Dr. Vegapunk has not only worked with different factions, he worked with the Marines, he's helped the Straw Hats, and he possibly helped Blackbeard. And I like the idea of him actually helping Blackbeard because Blackbeard just being able to host two devil fruits, it is unprecedented in history. He's the first one to ever do it. So people saying possibly everyone in the D-Clan can do it. Yeah, if anyone in the D-Clan can do it, then I think it would be more of a known fact. Because the D-Clan is feared by the government and feared by the Celestial Dragons. The fact they can hold two devil fruits would be known, at least by multiple people, not just Blackbeard. And if Blackbeard does know it, how does only Blackbeard know that fact? Again, someone who has who's advanced in 500 years of knowledge, Dr. Vegapunk, would be able to tell him, D-Clan, yo, you can hold two devil fruits. He's like, okay, two devil fruits, I got it. All right? But more or less, I want to talk more on the topic of how Queen mentioned the MADS, ancient history, and then cyborg all in that picture. And when you think about ancient history or old history and cyborgs, another name comes to mind, and that's Dr. Tsukimi. Dr. Tsukimi was working on automatas who are basically cybernetic humans, and he's from ancient history. He's before Dr. Vegapunk. And if Dr. Vegapunk's knowledge is 500 years, Tsukimi is before the 4th century and probably before, because he's actually making sentient beings that are cyborgs, things that have feelings. They went to the moon in order to get back at the moon for killing Dr. Tsukimi. They wanted revenge. So they actually have feelings. They're actually competent and actually understanding of what's going on. But now let's talk about multiple devil fruits and why I think that's going to play a big part in what the MADS is. So Judge went off. I mean, Queen went off to work with King. I mean, she did work with King. I mean, he did work with Queen, but he did work with King. Dang. Queen went off to work with Kaido. Kaido did not only develop the eyes only virus, but he also used like some, also in the same realm with Caesar working with the Smile Devil Fruits. Because Queen worked with Dr. Vegapunk, Caesar was a apprentice or working subordinate of Dr. Vegapunk. The connections there, and also Joker being the broker, it makes the most sense. So Queen has a connection to Caesar. Dr. Vegapunk, however, is not working by himself, and but with the resources of the world government. Judge was his own country. So with the knowledge of the lineage factor and the advanced genetics, because he actually made his children super soldiers. You know what I'm saying? So with those things in mind, Judge is creating an army. Queen's creating an army. Dr. Vegapunk is also creating an army. But what for? Kaido wants to start the war, the greatest war this planet's ever seen. Judge wants soldiers to just do it, operate at his whim. Whatever he tells them to do, they do it. They can die and just make another one. So what is Dr. Vegapunk's? Well, Dr. Vegapunk is the enemy of everybody. He's helping the Marines, but he's also helping the pirates. That's why I want Dr. Vegapunk now to come into the story, because not only do we have the drop of the Gum Gum fruit, Dr. Vegapunk is going to be the one to actually explain devil fruits to us. I had a theory that most likely the Gum Gum fruit is actually a artificial devil fruit, the first one created by Dr. Vegapunk that wasn't a failure, and how it has the properties or the abilities to do other things besides just being a normal paramecia. How Mochi is like able to have the three properties of the paramecia. They have body alteration, environmental alteration, and substance production. If the artificial devil fruit of the rubber fruit is able to, instead of having all the properties, he's able to transform, like Ditto. Like Ditto's able to transform into another Pokemon. Maybe Luffy's not able to transform into another person. Maybe not that, but it may be able to switch his form. Maybe go into a giant, maybe go into a dwarf, in that nature. And it's getting to the point where I was thinking about the 12 talismans of the Jackie Chan series, and the monkey was shape-shifting. And when you think about rubber, you can shapeshift. So I'm saying maybe the artificial devil fruit of the rubber fruit was one that can shapeshift or change its body and change its proportions of its body. And that's why it's so special. And that's why it was being protected, because Vegapunk made it. As well as there's also another theory that it possibly slows down your aging process. And that also fits right in line with what the world government wants. They wanted the Op fruit for immortality or forever young. They wanted Doflamingo wanted man cherries because it heals any wound. So if you're old, sick, whatever, you can be healed. The Julie Bonnie, remember, Julie Bonnie has some connections to the world government because when she left, Akainu said he had a chill down his spine, which means she actually either works for the world government, works for the Marines, or like she has connections like royal blood to the Marines or celestial dragons in some way, shape, or form. But her devil fruit actually makes you age younger or older at will just by a touch. And then it would be Luffy's rubber fruit. So, but I want to get back into the whole army thing. The mad scientists were a group of people who wanted to experiment and take a step further in all fields. Dr. Vegapunk was not only devil fruits but also cybernetics. Judge was also the lineage factor alongside Dr. Vegapunk, and Queen was more biochemist, dealing with maybe devil fruits as well, but more cybernetics and developing viruses. So if those all come together, and Dr. Vegapunk's actually the one to create an army, the SSG is actually an army of humanoid cyborgs. Like pacifistas don't really have personalities, but these people, the SSG, actually do currently have personalities. They can act on their own. They have multiple devil fruits, and they're possibly stronger, or if not even equal to, maybe like, I would say, close to Yonko level. Because if they're replacing the warlords, they have to be that strong. Because, you know, some of the warlords are pretty darn strong. Mihawk is not no easy out, all right? So, where do we go from here? Dr. Vegapunk coming to Wano. His connections to Wano are all there. That CP0 was supposed to bring Dr. Vegapunk to Wano. That was a deal with Orochi. They had no leeway. Orochi had Kaido. Orochi had the weapons. They didn't bring Dr. Vegapunk. Both of those things, Kaido's on your head, or the weapons are not being sent. So they had to do it. So then where do we go from here? I want to see what Dr. Vegapunk is going to do moving forward. Now that he definitely knows about Germa now, and Germa is now taken down possibly by Big Mom, possibly even captured. Queen is working with Kaido. Kaido's not on the move to get the ancient weapons. Dr. Vegapunk's SSG is now going out to replace the warlords. So if he's just a peacekeeper, if he's just working for the Marines, then he's sitting back chilling. But I don't think that's the case. And I do believe his connection to the Straw Hats has to come back into the story some way, somehow. But who knows? But for the most part, I do like the whole theory of the MADS coming into play and the whole situation with Sanji and maybe Queen developing and going through the storyline or going through constant banter with Sanji and get a little bit more of what they actually did. To be honest, I'm getting to the point where I feel that the memory of Queen and Judge working together and Queen mentioning something about Sanji's mom is going to play a huge factor in what goes on moving forward. Maybe it's something really heinous, or maybe something really like, wow, I didn't think that about my father. Maybe I misjudged him. Maybe that's why the reason why he was like that the whole time. Maybe he was the one that was getting worked on. Maybe the MADS, he was literally the human subject. As long Queen was a human subject, and so was Judge. Dr. Vega Punk worked on both of them. You know, Queen is now a cyborg, and Judge is just mentally out of his mind. So you have no idea. But I do like where the story is going. I do really think Vega Punk is going to come to the story again. I just don't know how yet. I do like the idea that he's a lurking legend. He's possibly lurking in that other dimension with Bluno, but we'll see. We just have to wait and see, man. But like I said at the end of every single video, I gotta repeat that. No, we're gonna do that one over again. We're gonna get this one right. I have a retainer in, so I can't speak all the time, but this one we're gonna get right. Leave a comment down below and tell me what you guys think. And like I said at the end of every single video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell button to come back and remain enlightened, y'all. Peace.